I didn't mean to go. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing good today. I totally meant
What?
to hit the live button.
Good evening, everyone. Omar jumped the gun, which he's known to do, I hear, in a lot of areas.
Never, not true.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking, and there's no hiding that. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean to hit start.
Because we're still waiting on Madddie.
We were waiting on Madddie, and how's everybody doing though? Where's everybody from tonight? Yeah?
Phil is from South Wales
How did you know that?
because I was about to put it up.
Phrasing. What's up, Phil Owens? How is everyone doing this lovely, wonderful
Sorry,
Sunday?
Maddie's on. Sorry, Madddie. Omar apparently is just drunk enough that he hit begin broadcast before we even got started.
So we're live. Oh, maybe she's fixing her audio.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Ontario?
Hello, how are you guys?
Jersey, what's up, Omar Reyes Jr.?
What part of Jersey?
Look, we got two jerseys.
What part of Jersey y'all from?
Georgia, California, Arizona.
Arizona, hey. Elias, is that how you spell it? My sister's in Arizona, actually. Interesting
Phrasing.
enough.
Good morning from Australia. Jordan, you're a
Hey,
true
Jordan, you are a
true fan. Thank you so much, man. Princeton.
Princeton, okay.
I am soggy city of Atlantis, not as soggy as Omar's backyard. You remember that from yesterday's episode or Saturday, whenever that was. New York City, Rochester in the house.
Oh, that's where my family on my mom's side is from. We used to go to Lake Ontario all the time.
Are you rapping tonight, Amanda? I hope not.
No, I haven't drank, so I will not be rapping.
Can you hear us? I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
It's not my drunken ears.
What about now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Put it a little closer to your mouth. Just a little, if you can. The little headset.
Okay.
That's what he said.
I don't want to be louder than you, like I naturally am, and this thing I spiked.
You guys started early without me.
Let me explain. I can explain. I'm drinking, and instead of hitting I don't know what this option is, see a page on YouTube's, I hit start broadcast, and I realized what I did, and I totally played it off. Nobody knew that this was not planned. I was like, hey, what's up? Omar from Your Big Condition, totally. What are you drinking? It's Fall City beer. It's a Pilsner.
I love Pilsners.
It's pretty good, and it's Sunday, and it's just, it's been rough. It's been a rough week, so it's Sunday. Did I mention? I mentioned that.
You did, yeah. Yeah.
The library opens tomorrow, Madddie, from Jessica.
That's right.
Well, I'm not going to go into the library, probably.
Old reader, drunk reader. We've done those before.
One end. I have thought about getting a beer, but now we've started. I don't have time.
Yeah, that's on me.
Omar
Again, you can blame me. Greetings from
Oh,
Vegas, baby. Interested in this topic as I hear this is a top shelf book. Well, you will be hearing from all of us. Y'all should be drinking vodka.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely not beer.
I'm not that drunk yet. So how are you two ladies doing?
Good.
Good. So first of all, I just want to give a shout out to all the people that reached out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and emailed us, worried about the show on Tuesday, and I was like, yeah, we'll reschedule. So thank you all for reaching out. Some people went as far as to say they couldn't sleep when they realized we weren't on.
Whoa.
I don't know what. Ooh, look at that angle.
Okay.
Oh.
You look like a pro gamer girl.
It looked messy on the other side because there's like my craft stuff on this, so switched it.
That's
Look
right.
at here, cutie
Maple.
Maple. What's up? Catalyst. I haven't seen these names in a long
I know,
time.
neither have I.
Because we were all hanging out before this, so we came to join.
I ruined the fun. That's what I do. I'm sorry. It's 8 a.m. in Singapore.
Whoa, good morning.
So, yeah, if you're not familiar with the show, we are going to be talking about Superman Red Son. It's available in trade paperback, hardcovers, Comixology, and all that jazz. Oh, you got a new printing. This is
what I got.
This is the second printing, right?
I read mine on DC Universe.
DC Universe app and all these things.
Yeah.
So it's widely available. It's widely available. It is written by Mark Millar, drawn by Dave Johnson, Killian Plunkett, and then Andrew Robinson and Walden Wong supplying some of the colors. So when this was written, DC had a line of books called Elseworld. So to kind of tell you what that's about, it was pretty much this does not take place in the regular DC universe. This is a possible universe. This is a alternate reality. And in this reality, Superman did not land in the United States of America. And that's, by the way, we talk about spoilers too. Just a heads up in case you have not read this and want to make sure, I don't want to spoil this for anybody. 1 a.m. in South Wales.
Oh.
Madddie can give Rob 64 a run for his money. Yes, I think we all know that. And Rob knows that. So, which one of you ladies want to start?
Well, like you said, the Red Sun is an alternate telling of the prodigal Superman story, and instead of him landing in the United States, he lands in the USSR in 1938. So we're talking in the Ukraine, actually, which is a country that became part of the Soviet Union, around the time of World War II, et cetera, or they fall out of World War II. And he's still there's some similarities. Still landed on a farm, just a collective, not necessarily a typical farm that you might see here in the United States. And he still had a childhood friend named Lana, so certain similarities. And he still grew up with the similar ideals that Superman has about saving humankind and protecting humankind, not necessarily just the USSR, but everyone. And he ends up making himself known in the early 50s, right around the time when the United States and the Soviet Union are in the middle of the Cold War. And so, of course, for the United States, a super being like Superman seems like a big threat that the USSR has placed upon them. So they enlist the smartest man so far in the universe, or in the world, Lex Luthor, who works at Star Labs, and they enlist him to help them create a weapon to counter Superman. And he, of course, is the same type of Lex Luthor we may have seen in different iterations, that he's a scientist this time, not really a businessman, extremely smart, can do apparently 5,000 things at once, although there have been studies that multitasking really doesn't exist. It's just quickly switching between tasks. But I guess
I'd like to see those studies.
Yeah.
We got a super chat. Thank you so much to Project Viking. I've actually read this one working tonight.
Nice.
So I'm in till the pager goes off and hopefully back before it's over. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, man. We really appreciate that. Luthor was the Elon Musk of his time.
Yes, I would say that's true.
But yeah, this is definitely like the Luthor of this was really interesting to see, because we're used to seeing Luthor in juxtaposition with Superman being in his own country.
Yes.
And so in this one we see a very he's still the very overconfident Luthor.
Oh, yeah. Luthor.
But even more so, because he's just like, I'm doing 4 things at once, and I'm gonna I'm gonna fight Superman.
Yeah,
and then we have yeah, exactly, and we have a Luthor that's married to Lois Lane in this universe.
Lois Luthor.
Lois Lane in the byline.
Yes.
So we're, and she's still, we still have a Lois that has feelings for Superman in this as well, which is it's fun to see, because they don't actually interact much, but they both notice that and still draw attention to. Mm-hmm. And then we have basically this back and forth between, much like the Cold War, right, between Lex and Superman, and it's the part of the main kind of main part of this story. Just like Lex trying to do what he can to defeat Superman, like you said, but continuing to fail, even creating things like Amazo, which is fun to see that this is his creation, right? Amazo and Bizarro and all of these other things, until his old age, right?
Even taking the Green Lantern, right,
and Hal Jordan, finding the rings and bringing in Hal Jordan and choosing him, this man who had been captured in war, and shown willpower to survive over 4 years, choosing him to be the one. As well as having a couple of different things in the middle, right? With like, we also see Diana, who is a representative of the Mascara here, along with her mother, and chooses to again fight in man's world and kind of be a comrade to Superman.
Yes.
And we also meet Batman, who died in similar but different circumstances to his Earth 1, Earth 2 counterparts, right? Like, instead of having his parents die on the street, he's a wealthy man. His parents were, what's the word for that? They were against the government and they got shot down.
I think they were newspapermen, if I don't recall, and they were gunned down by Pyotr Rozlov's men, I believe.
Yeah.
And thus begins, so it's a different origin story for Batman, but very similar. I mean, in a way, similar vein of that anarchist feel that we get from Batman's story.
Right, exactly. It's cool. They kind of sprinkle it in early and then come back to it later, which is fun because they do like move to him, or you see the bats near him, and like, oh, this is going to be him. And this is a very different Batman than ours.
Exactly.
Because like, the Batman that we know, his parents were killed by criminals. So then he sought to be the opposite of that and bring down criminals in a more like safe, I say safe, but like non-lethal way, versus this Batman, whose parents were killed by the government.
Yes.
And so he chose a different route, he chose a different path. It's very interesting.
I liked that part of it too, seeing their battle throughout, through the later of this, yeah.
And then we ultimately see this wrap up with, because at some point Superman picks up Brainiac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brainiac shrinks a city of his, Stalingrad.
Thank you so much, Scotty G,
Scotty
supporting
G.
the Mod Squad tonight. Nice to see everyone. Thank you so much.
He takes Brainiac, and he ends up like
using
Brainiac to help the expansion of the USSR, and also used it to control his citizens in a way that he thinks is doing to help them.
Yes.
Right. But also done in a very brainwashy way.
Yes.
Which he doesn't realize the truth of until the end. And Brainiac's like, oh, surprise, I was using this whole time. It's much easier to have you and Lex fight it out and take over this whole world than to me to do it. And, yeah.
And then it has a really cool circular storytelling arc where, so, obviously Stalin ends up getting killed, and who better to take over the leadership of the USSR than Superman? And at first, while he was hesitant, I think he realizes that they need someone like him, that he could really do such amazing things for the world. Because that's what he's always been about, saving the human race, or taking care of us in a way, being there for us. And he's
What's up, Hugo?
Smart, right? I mean, he can invent things in this one as well. I believe he invents a few things to just help humankind. And so eventually, little by little, we see a lot of countries coming into the USSR, except for the United States, which, very much later into Superman's life, it has become a wasteland, because we are so hell-bent on our freedom that we don't even care if we're living in squalor and whatever the case may be, as long as we're free. And so that story is resonates quite well against some current circumstances. But I like how the story ends up going full circle, where, I never really saw where Superman, does he die? Can he die? And he ends up, the whole thing is narrated from his perspective, and you don't realize he's, we're looking at millions maybe of years down the line, and you see his descendants, to the point where Earth is being destroyed, just like Krypton, and they place their child, Kal-El, into a pod and send him back in time to do things right, and he ends up in the Ukraine. So his whole story is circular, which is a really interesting concept, where they sent him back to save the world from what it became, but he's the one who help bring it to this particular in history. So can you really ever change history? What an interesting concept. So
these are Lex's descendants, right? Isn't that
descendants?
Which is awesome. Like how really funny is that?
Like he's really Lex's kid. Like
it was a good little twist to the end.
I liked that a lot. I thought that was really neat.
I loved the ending.
So it's split up into 3 different books, 3 different chapters, where it takes place in the 50s. It takes place in real time, right? It takes place in real time. If Superman had been created in the 30s, he lands in the 50s. He's part of the 60s and 80s, all the way up until the old age where he's fighting Lex. And there's a movie about this, and I haven't seen it yet, and I heard the movie was pretty well done.
Oh, Superman Red Sun, the movie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched it Monday.
It's an animated film.
It's very good. It's very different. It's not very different, but it's different in a lot of different parts. Like, Superman kills Stalin.
Oh, okay.
That is different.
He basically, like, things kind of change for him a little bit differently. Like, he takes control a little bit differently. So he learns about the Gulag. Basically, Lois tips him off. She's like, do you not know about this? She gives him like a folder.
Oh, okay.
And so he goes to the Gulag and sees all these people, working in these mines underground and dying and starving to death. And he liberates them. And one person he sees is Svetlana. She's called Svetlana in the movie, which I thought was way better than was just Lana. I think
exactly.
And he sees a young Bruce Wayne, whose parents died there, and Bruce is like, I thought you were gonna come. I yelled for you, you never heard us, because the place is like shielded by lead, so it's done on purpose. So Superman, pissed, goes and he kills Stalin, and he takes over. And so it immediately is a very stark contrast.
That's a lot different.
Yeah.
What did you two? Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about the things that both of you enjoyed and what didn't work for you all. Because this is my 3rd time reading this. I read this. Goodness, it's the last time I read this. I want to say it's probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I haven't read it since then, and and this is regarded as one of the best Superman books ever. Like seriously, you ask most people, and they're like, top 10 for sure. Some people say top 5, top 3.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what you two thought of this going into it, especially not having read like a ton of Superman, right? Not having read years and decades of Superman, but I've only read like certain story arcs or certain stories where Superman was featured. What did you think of this retelling of his origin in another reality?
It was my favorite Superman movie. I love that one. I chuckle a little bit when I saw that pop up. It was my favorite Superman story that we have read here.
Okay.
I think I enjoy when people do these kind of what if scenarios. So I might enjoy other Elseworld stories, but I think it almost gave to me, from the other, minus the other stories I've read, it gives me a little bit more of Superman. And plus it's just something about it that really resonated with me. And I don't know if it's just, seeing this scenario, this political scenario take place where, you see this socialist, communist society, and what can it do and how can it help the people? And seeing someone like Superman take that on, and then maybe it's not the best, and the different touch points there, I find it fascinating. So to me, this is one of my favorite Superman stories, if not my favorite Superman story that we read. And I just like the overall political fallouts and aspects of it to me, because that stuff really interests me. So that was my favorite part about it. And the ending. Well done.
What about you, Madddie? What did you like about the book? What didn't work? So
I've read quite a bit of Superman stuff by now. I really enjoyed it. I knew that I would, even going in. Mm-hmm. I'm a big history buff. So I love talking about this kind of stuff anyways. So it's really interesting to see just the way that these characters evolve in a different setting.
Yeah.
You know, because we're very used to seeing, Clark Kent, Southern boy, his whole deal. And just seeing the difference because, basically we're looking at it like a community over individualistic view because he's in the Soviet Union. So immediately once, he gets his powers, he's like, okay, I'm going to go serve the country now. Which is very different from Clark Kent in the U.S. because he doesn't go right away. Although he still feels that drive to help people, it's not in that sense. And he doesn't feel the need to fix everyone. Versus this Clark, who does think in a very, community
Broad
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's like, well, I can do better by everyone. I can just lead this.
I'll do
Which
it. Yeah.
ends up being his downfall because there's no perfect way, and you can't take away people's free will, which is what he inevitably does with Brainiac. It's just his downfall with this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also seeing a Superman that's a little bit more violent.
Yeah.
By a little bit, I mean a lot, than his U.S. counterpart. So it's very, very different. And also being able to see Lex in this way is so interesting. Because he's basically being able to act, without, limits to himself.
Yes, there are no limits.
He's able to be the top dog in the country, which is always wanted. And seeing his relationship with Lois, it's very good.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a good book to grab. Some very non-Superman familiar readers. I loved it, and again, the ending was great, and I didn't see that coming because that's not in the movie.
Neither did I. I was like, how are they gonna end this? Is he gonna right his wrong? Nope. This is not where I was going with it.
In the movie, it doesn't end that way, and also Lex has nothing to do with the Brainiac machine doing what it does.
Oh, wow.
That's all Brainiac. That was all Brainiac's plan. Lex had nothing to do with it, and so he helps him take down Brainiac. There's a self-destruct. Superman leads it to the sun. It explodes. They assume he's dead. They go back to living their lives.
Yeah.
Very different than the my descendants are Superman.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought they did really well. Somebody was asking a question. I need to bring it back up real quick.
About Batman?
No, something else. There we go. From Justin. Is it established in canon that if Wonder Woman breaks her lasso, it does to her what it did in Red Sun? I don't believe so. I've never seen any case of that.
I'm trying to think. In the George Perez run, something similar happened, but it wasn't there was no ramifications like that. I think this is just something in the Elseworld tell. Nobody's really aged up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I?
Also, real quick, not to bring up the movie again, but one good thing about the movie is, because in this, Diana has feelings for Superman, which ultimately go away when she sees that he's just like every other dude. But in the movie, he kind of asks her out, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm from an island full of women. You can put two and two together." I was like, nice.
This was one of my favorite lines in the book. Why don't you just put the whole world in a model Superman? Which is kind of, what Brainiac did to the city. I don't think it's a lie that on this show, or that I don't think I ever hide the fact that Mark Millar is not one of my favorite writers. There's some things that I enjoyed that he did, and going back and reading this again, I found it very, very interesting to reread because I loved this story when I first read it. First time around, I was like, "This is awesome. This is what every Elseworld tale should be." Second time around, I can't remember if I felt that way. This time around, there were some amazing parts that I really liked, and then there were things that, how do I put it? I wish it had been handled differently. It's almost too. Almost like he's spoon feeding you too much. This is Hal Jordan. He's going to become Green Lantern. This kid is going to grow up to be Batman. I get it. I've read DC. I don't need to be, almost panhandle these kind of things. I understand where you're going. And do we really need all these characters if this is a story about Superman? do we really need everything? Do we really need a Russian Batman or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern? What I loved and I wish they had focused more on was this amazing relationship between Lex and Superman.
Yeah.
The last line that he delivers was like, it almost feels like somebody had been planning this for 40 years, right down to the last decimal point. And I wish that had been played out more. I loved it. Loved that line. Yeah, so I think rereading this, it almost became too much. Like, I think it's just almost like pandering to the audience, like Mark Millar saying, "Oh, look, it's this character." Some audiences will get it so much so that using characters from Superman, it stops becoming an Easter egg and just kind of becomes part of the story. Whereas other writers would have handled that differently. So that's the one thing I didn't like about it. Not
you
very
think
much.
there's too much name drops of different DC comic characters and things like that in it?
No, not really. I think a different writer would have handled it differently. Like, maybe not thrown it in your face that this is Hal Jordan. Maybe not throwing it in your face that this is
Jimmy Olsen's CIA agent or
that
something like
Batman's
that.
parents had to be killed in order for him to become Russian Batman.
Well, I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think it was over. I don't think it was overt. I don't think it was too much. And honestly, I appreciated seeing that because even though I could see that you didn't need to have those in the story. True.
Yeah.
But being a fan, it was just interesting to look at that and realize why they are acting this way versus how they did in their original counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed having that discussion. Ellie and I talked about it a lot with how why Batman is like this here. Why the way that his parents died are very significant to the way that he chose to act afterwards. We have a Batman that kills. We have a Batman that chooses a very different way to act versus the Batman we have here. We have a Batman that has a following. That's not Batman in the U.S. Yeah. And Batman's just one singular dude. I like that. And with Hal, the background of him being chosen was very interesting. I think it's because I'm a DC fan. It was nice to see that.
I would agree.
It gave me more to play in.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I know it's Superman's story, but at the same time, as a DC fan, or even as a fan, I'm not a terribly huge DC fan, but just a fan of of comics in general. But to see these characters who clearly are important characters in Superman's story, regardless, just to get to see them and how they would interact with him in this version of Superman, that I was fine with. It did sacrifice the Lex Luthor part for a little bit, their interaction, and maybe a little bit of him and the Lois, because I didn't quite see how later historians would claim they dated, because we didn't get to see a lot of the two of them interact, which I guess you said they actually talked in
a little bit more.
Yeah,
because here we just had the two different interactions.
Yes.
Yeah, it's obvious that she's in love with it. But I did like that little moment, though. I don't know. It was really just we both saw each other. And I know at that moment, we both recognized the same thing in each other.
Yes.
I could tell by her heart beating faster. But I could also see that, neither of us could ever make a move. Because I see the ring on her finger and the crumpled up picture of the scientist. Yes. Immediately, this sort of, it's hokey. But, this soulmate recognition between the two of them. Because they are. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Maybe it was just me. I've seen it a lot in Elseworlds. I've seen it a lot at Marvel with Age of Apocalypse, with House of M, where we see this world where different characters act a different way. Maybe being new to something like this, I would have been really cool, awesome. All these characters are now Russian. But I think having seen them, having seen it a lot and handled differently, I think I would have liked just a more focused story, especially when you're only working with 3 issues, just on the relationship between Superman and what's up with Weekend Geekdom.
This question is really good, so I want to make sure I highlight it.
That's a good question. Whew.
Which character would you use in what time period? If you could do your own what if in the style of Rhett's son, which character would you use in what time period?
I would like to play more with different time periods, but not set it in. I think a different country would be more interesting. Something like, I'd say something like Southeast Asia, or the Middle East, or Africa, or South America. Like, really get out of like very like white looking faces and tell a story that's very different.
What character did you choose?
I don't know. I think I'm just thinking in general of just like main superheroes, but put them someplace very different.
That's what I was trying to think of.
That's
like,
a pretty good
what if
question.
Captain America wasn't a man at a time? What if he wasn't a guy from the 40s, right? What if he was a super soldier created in a different time, different place? Was that that been a story?
That would be. I mean,
but what would he had the same values that
it's so hard because
had during the World War II? Like, would that be the same guy or?
Right.
There's so many Elseworlds and what ifs already, and I'm trying to think outside of the box.
Well, I mean, let's think about like maybe the nationalists versus the communists during China, right?
Yes.
That would be really interesting. Or let's look at go way back, like let's mess with the Mongols, or have like feudal era Japan, like right when the Meiji period, when like the samurai era is going away.
It's going away.
Yeah, like have the Shinsengumi. Because I do
what character would you throw in there then? That's the important thing.
If you did Shinsengumi, you'd want like a big group, like the Lantern Corps or something.
Man,
that'd be interesting.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like
Batman Ninja.
I want a non-America related.
Yes.
Historical playground to be in.
Yeah.
I think this is a story we recognize often. Though I enjoyed it because I throughout reading you could sympathize and empathize with both sides.
Oh yeah.
Which was nice. And it was fun to see how each side was creating a government that wasn't exactly putting its people first.
Yes.
Very of the time currently.
Yes.
Everyone. But like, you have such a rich world history we can dive into. I'd like to see a lot more of that.
DBZ also said, oh, sorry. But that's true as well. But DBZ also mentioned Spider-Man India.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a comic
book.
Is that
a thing? Yeah. That sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
I like this costume in that. Actually, I think they killed the character off in Spider-Geddon or Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay.
A lot of those Spider-Man characters died. Because I like the Spider-Man Japan. Go ahead.
I do recommend if people are looking for this isn't obviously a retelling; it's in the actual Rebirth universe, but New Superman, which is in China.
It's really good.
It's very, very good. I really, really recommend it. It isn't just like, okay, here's Superman based in China. They've created superheroes that have these abilities similar to those in America. So you have like a China Justice League. You've got a Flash. You've got a Batman. You've got a Wonder Woman. You've got a Superman. It's very good.
The guy that wrote it, I saw a video of him talking about how he refused to do it. He's like, no, this is stupid. Why would I take Superman and create the same character origin, just place it somewhere else? And then when he started writing the script, he was like, okay, this could work. And it was great. Sadly, it got canceled right after Rebirth. I think it lasted 12, maybe something like that.
I think we got 2 or 3 trades for that. Very good. Especially because the guy who's Superman is not your typical Superman. He's a little selfish.
Yeah, he's a lot different.
But I like him. He's great. And Batman's a nerd. This is great.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, I like that.
That's one of my favorite Batman or DC Elseworlds. I also like the Midsummers, the Justice League. Was it Fabian Nicieza wrote that with Derek Robertson maybe on artwork? That's one of my favorite Elseworld stories. But and then the Batman
I forgot about Batman
Vampire
Ninja.
Trilogy.
Yeah, I thought there was that was my first.
Now, that was just an anime, right?
I loved it. A lot of people. Yeah, it's his own thing.
Is it on DC Universe? Is it on HBO?
It might be. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was It's just fun. It's very like Gurren Lagann anime energy. There's like mechas, and they're all in feudal Japan. They have really cool outfits, and everyone's awesome except for Damien is wicked out of character. He's very happy, and he has a monkey.
That's
which
amazing.
Is so weird.
I'm okay with that version of Damien. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, it went on 20 issues. It became New Superman in the Justice League of China. That's right. And then got canceled. Speeding Bullet is solid. That's a good one.
Philip said Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Fantastic Four versus X-Men versus Avengers. Philip, oh my gosh, yes. That would be awesome.
I'm trying to think of who would be who. I used to love those games.
Man, and honestly, any dynasty in China, you could do a lot with that kind of stuff.
Oh,
well, there's so much, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good Elseworld tales out there. However, I don't even know how they're going to be collected. I know that Blood Rain, the trilogy, was they had a hardcover, or we're getting a hardcover, and I don't know if it's part of the Black Label line or not. And that's the problem with the Elseworld line. They've gone away, kind of like the Vertigo line. So I don't know how things are going to be collected anymore from DC.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Mar, you ever watched the movie Outlander? Yes, it's a bad... Okay. It's a good idea, bad execution. Completely agreed.
I just think about that show and novel series. We say Outlander.
Totally forgot ORNR is on today. Dude, you were one of the people that messaged us.
Yeah, we posted about it.
Yeah, we posted.
We decided to do a blackout that day. Yeah. And honestly, could you imagine if we went on and we talked about this amidst everything? It would be very tone deaf.
Amanda said the same thing.
Like, hey, let's talk about Super Sun or Red Sun, where like we literally have a state that's controlling its people.
Yeah.
No.
With the Gestapo. Yeah, let's not do that right now.
Hearing a lot of love for Gotham by Gaslight. It's one of my most wanted absolutes because of that Mignola artwork. It's pretty phenomenal. It's a good. The art really drives that story. Yeah. But I'm also a sucker for Batman Vampire, the Blood Rain trilogy. It's really good.
Michael, I wasn't trying to do a pun. That was what it's called that day.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
Superboy Legion is an underrated story.
I've never heard of it.
Dude, you know what I really like that we don't have a good collection of is the Jeff Johns Superman run. It is so good, and we don't have a proper collection of it. We have like standard size hardcovers and trade paperbacks, and it's nice to see this name in the chat.
I love you, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Mary's best people.
Is Absolute Gotham by Gaslight canceled? Of course it is. If you have to ask yourself, is something from DC canceled? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be yes. Seriously. Can't believe you guys mentioned Three Kingdoms. Love that part of my culture's history. I'll be fair and say only because I like the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games. Omar's X-Men Legacy Legion Omnibus out of print. I don't think it was. I can double check here in a little bit, but I don't think it was. So Gotham by Gaslight became a deluxe edition.
Interesting.
That's an old story. Loved it. Yeah, the Batman.
And it recently had an animated film too. So if you guys ever want to watch it that way,
how was it?
I think that's how I saw it. Was the animated?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
The Bat Boys were perfect in it.
Who?
The Bat Boys.
Robin?
All the Robins.
Yeah, like the Robins and stuff.
Oh, they showed up in it?
Yeah.
That's not part of the main story.
They're little kids. They're so cute.
Oh.
Alan Davis did a 2-issue Elseworld story of Legion. Yeah, Red Rain was my favorite one. That one was freaking awesome. But there's all 3 of them, and they're collected in a hardcover. It was supposed to be. Love the Jeff Johns Superman story and having Superman look like Christopher Reeves. Yes, I'd love to do Secret Origin one day. That's one of my favorite Superman stories. That and Brainiac. Brainiac is a fucking phenomenal story.
Yeah. Are we ready to rate this? Because that's what Justin's asking.
Oh yeah, good call, Justin.
Justin's like,
I give it. Yeah, Justin, I agree with you. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Thank you, Amanda. That's a good.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for bringing that up.
Well, I saw that. I was like, you're right. We have moved on. I would also give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's a really fun read. And one thing we didn't really talk about was the artwork. I really like how
I thought it was really good.
Fits the. It looks like the old cartoons. Makes Superman look like the classic, square jaw, superhero chin.
We didn't even talk about the art.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's
what
it's,
we didn't talk
it's
about.
so full of stuff.
I apologize. I missed that part.
Well, and it's also Dave Johnson isn't the only artist too. It's also Killian Plunkett. So, but yeah, it's a fun read.
I mean, they aged up characters well. Sometimes that's a big challenge for artists. They don't know how to draw these characters aged up.
I love my boy Canadian Invincible's ratings. 8.73 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10. And then, of course, Justin gave it a 9 out of 10. So, yes, if you've read this, let us know in the comments. I read the book a long time ago. I don't think I caught all the themes back then, though. It's worth a reread, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
5 out of 10. I didn't love it for a lot of reasons Omar's gave. It's a bit wordy and I wish it had gone a different direction.
Real quick. So there are things about the anime film I do like more than this. I like the art and the depth of what we see, everything in this story, but I think by having Lex be involved with Brainiac at the end versus Brainiac kind of being his own thing from the end.
Yeah.
It makes the message to Superman a little less. Because basically he realizes that, like, he's been working with Brainiac. He could have unshrunk that city, because he doesn't. Forever ago. Oh. He never unshrunk Sol and Gray, so he's been working on it with Brainiac. He never did it. And Lois like, you could have. And you never did it. It's like, oh, well, I couldn't. Like, Brainiac's like, no, you could. You never asked me. So I've had that ability. He's like, okay, well, Brainiac, stop everything. I need to change. Because she says that thing about, like, hey, you're treating your entire country like Stalingrad, like that bottled up city. You just want it to be this. Like, same with, like, what Lex Luthor said. And I feel like having Lex involved in the whole, like, what Brainiac's doing at the end kind of, I don't know.
You like that more in the movie or in the book? I
like it. I like what happens in the movie. Because, like, it's all Brainiac's doing. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that makes the message to Superman about his, like, transgressions a little more poignant.
Yeah.
DBC All-Star says the art is the highlight, but I think one of the biggest highlights is this setting. I agree.
Oh, yeah, for
There's
sure.
not a lot of comics go that route, go that way. Dave Johnson is mostly known as cover artist, notably for 100 Bullets. Huh. Yes, he has done all the 100 Bullets. He has almost like a propaganda style to his artwork. He's really good at that. He did a lot of, was it House of M covers? With the kind of cover that Amanda has on the trade paperback. It's not on this one. Yeah. It's like something like you've seen in propaganda.
Oh, yeah, I love it. That cover is like...
Yeah, I like that cover, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
all 100
cool.
Bullet covers, all the House of M not variants, but the spin-off series. He's really good for that kind of stuff. Movie-wise, Hugo said a 7.8. Duty Calls. Have a great one, brother.
Night.
Have a good night.
8.8 from Marcus, both the movie and the comic. And Omar, Jeff Johns did a run on Superman after Loeb run. He did a long run. Like, his run, he kicked it off with... I can't talk about what he introduced, but he did a run with Richard Donner, who directed the first two Superman movies. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that happened in DC Comics. Like, right after Infinite Crisis, when we had 1 year later, you had Richard Donner writing Superman. It was such a big deal. But for anybody that was reading it monthly, we all know what happened to that. But that introduces, it's the Last Son storyline, and then he went on to do Brainiac, he went on to do Superman and the Legion of Three Worlds, all the way up to New Krypton. His run is freaking awesome. I love his take on Superman. And that, for anybody that has read Brainiac, there's a particular scene that just hits you right in the feels, man. But all of them are really, really good. 8 out of 10, 6.8. Shandasuk, of course you do. Who doesn't like a good propaganda, right?
Are we human if we don't?
John should, yeah. It's the one run out of DC that he's done that has not gotten a nominee, with the exception, of course, of Stargirl. But that just recently got a complete trade paperback, complete collection. And if you've never read it, it's a really good series. It's his first comic book he ever read or wrote.
I've been reading Stars and Stripes.
That's it. That was his
Is
first
that the
comic
one?
book.
Yeah.
I love that book.
Yeah, I decided to pick it up because I've been watching the show.
Yeah.
So
it ties into the JSA. Oh, I love that book so much. And it was his first comic book.
And now I'm dying to read Starman, but apparently it's all on DC Universe, so I'm going to.
Yeah, we should. It's so good. Well, maybe y'all would think it's good. My wife does not. Brainiac is one of the most emotional moments of the entire... Dude. I'm not spoiling anything, but when Ma Kent says, "We do not fly up there." Oh my god. Oh, dude. Oh, Jeff Johns, you bastard. You make a grown man cry. Even thinking about that scene. Stars and Stripes really deserved the note. Yes, it did. But, you know, those 2 trade paperbacks have been out of print for almost a decade. So I'm glad they at least brought it back in one collection.
Hugo, I hope you enjoy it.
Oh,
my bank account is hurting because of She-Hulk, which thank God I ordered it in time.
Yeah, you got the last one, according to some people.
Yeah, everyone was like, it's already sold out. And I kept getting like tagged. Like, I think Madddie bought the last one live on stream. I was in a panic.
We were doing a live chat and Madddie was impulse buying.
Yeah, I was like, hey, real quick question. Unrelated, this is from me. Omar, is this out of print or stock? He's like, yeah. I was like, shit. So ISD still had a copy. I was like, impulse buy. Oh my god, goodbye, $74.
Oh my god.
Shit.
I bought it too. David, who runs Marvel, had to buy it too because of the pandemic. David, the guy that said, "Let's get this collected," had to buy it as well because they don't send out, review copies or anything.
I was not gonna miss out on She-Hulk. I couldn't.
I love that run. Madddie, you haven't read Dan Slott's run, right?
No, the only She-Hulk I've read are the more like
the Tamaki.
Yeah, I read Tamaki and I've read
Charles Soule.
Yeah.
Charles Soule. That's good too. I hope we get JSA reprinted. Seriously, that needs to be reprinted because it's my favorite Jeff Johns book.
I would like to read JSA also. I know it's because I'm into. I think with Stargirl being out, they'll release more of that. I think.
Probably.
I think so. Well, how about this? It would be the logical thing to do.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I shouldn't assume.
If you ran a good business. Have you all read? I meant to ask about this. All 3 of the Black Science hardcovers are in the top 10 of IST. Those are freaking awesome. I don't know. Have you all read Black Science?
No.
So have we done any Rick Remender on this show?
I feel like we have. Let me see.
Wait, isn't Deadly Class?
Wait. I want to know what Maddie's looking at. Is she looking at like a spreadsheet that we don't know that she's kept?
No.
Is it Deadly Class?
We read Deadly Class.
That's it, Deadly Class.
That's the only thing we've read, I think, by him.
Yeah. I would really like to read Black Science.
It's all and done. And
also, can we read Black Hammer?
Yes, I want to read Black Hammer too.
Can we wait until the library edition comes out later this year? Because we only need those 2.
Because I need to read my Black Hammer Justice League crossover, but I need to read Black Hammer first.
That won't be collected in the library collection.
Well, I know I have it.
So if you got it, good for you.
I just happen to have Black Hammer Justice League.
There's so much. Oh man, Fear Agent. See, Fear Agent is my jam. That's my favorite Rick Remender book. Black Science is good, but it reminds me a lot of Fear Agent, and that's probably why I love it. Tokyo Ghost is freaking awesome. It's got art by Sean Murphy, and yeah, we will. We got this month planned out. Next week, or I'm sorry, Tuesday is Mark Waid and Chris Samney's Black Widow. On the 23rd is
a Patreon. Yes,
and that's a short book. That's like it's a Garth. No, it's Grant Morrison's. It's either Joe the Barbarian, We Three, or Flex Metallo. So it'll be one of those choices. And then on the 30th, we're gonna do Silver Surfer by Dan Slott. Black Hammer's fire. I need to get to see. I'm waiting for that damn library edition, so I can't even read those spin-off series yet. I'm sure Agent Venom, all of that will be in the Venomnibus Volume 4, for people that are wondering, because some of those are out of print. We need to find a way to get Fear Agent Volume 2 reprinted. I know we can, but we have to find a way. And the reason Philip is saying that is because the library editions were published by Dark Horse, and then Dark Horse lost the rights to Fear Agent. So Image bought them, and Image isn't doing library editions for some reason, and they match up perfectly to his other hardcovers like Black Science and Deadly Class. They're tall. I wish they would just reprint those. And Omar, which is a better Omni, Jeff Johns Flash or JGL Omni? Oh, God bless, dude. I like both a lot. All right, but for me, it's JSA, then Green Lantern, and then Flash. Infinite Crisis somewhere in between all those. A quick rundown on Black Hammer without giving any spoilers.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, no spoilers for me either.
Okay, well, think of a superhero team like some characters borrowed from DC, some characters borrowed from Marvel, living in this society, and then not all is what it seems to be. And an outsider kind of breaks into the society where everything is normal and superheroes aren't really living their superhero life anymore because of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And this outsider wants to kind of bring these superheroes back, but in interesting ways. The beauty of it is the freaking characters that are like your Superman, like your Captain America or Thor. Like it's really well done. But that's Black Hammer without any spoilers. As much spoilers. So somebody was at, okay, Omar, when are you guys doing Avengers by Busick? I don't know, because next month it ain't up to me. It's all Maddie's birthday month,
right.
so she gets to choose what we do that month. So she's the one that gets to choose what books we read for the entire month of July, including the Patreon vote. So she gets to choose 3 or 4 books that get put up there. Let's see. Image knows better. Their oversized hardcovers tend to get them that paper. Look at Luther Strode. Dude, I know. I don't know why there's no reprints of that stuff.
Man, I'm so in love with Image Deluxe books.
Oh my god, every time I turn the channel on, I order an Omni straight paperbacks. You could read it digitally. I mean, there's always that option, right? But then your friends would make fun of you. I'm just kidding.
I don't think that.
I'm just kidding. Not just one day, but an entire. She has stuck through. Both Amanda and her have stuck with me through a lot of things, and I'm sober now, and I can say that she has earned the entire month of July to herself, so we can read whatever she wants to read. I'm okay with that, as long as one of those books is X-Men.
No.
Maybe we could do She-Hulk since Maddie bought it in front of all of us.
Let's hope it actually ships to me. I'm so worried it's gonna be a situation where I add it to my cart and they're like, oh, actually.
You don't get that.
Let's see. Maddie's month of Merry Marvel Madness.
You know there's going to be some DC in there because it's me.
Yeah, I was like, she loves her some DC.
Yep.
Agreed, Scotty. I'm currently hunting the Jeff Johns Superman. Dude, it's worth it. Jeff Johns Superman run. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It is freaking phenomenal. It happens after Infinite Crisis and leads us to the new Krypton crossover event.
Yay!
I read Heavy Vinyl because of Maddie. Everyone on the channel was
love
persuasive.
Heavy Vinyl.
I haven't read it, so Maddie, maybe if you want to do that, I'm good with that. Gotta have the physical book. Yes! That man understands. Omar, are you going to let the masses know about the Blockbusters Comics Cafe? Yeah, I created that, and my boy Canadian Invincible Comics is going to help me open up a franchise in Canada. There's going to be one at every corner, just like a Starbucks. Here's a good question, Maddie. Do you have any of these? What are your thoughts on 3-in-1s? Paper quality's kind of bad. I agree with that.
I like the ones I have. I don't have much. Like, I have I think the only actual 3-in-1s I have are the Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service. And then I've got like the deluxes for like Monster and 20th Century Boys. But I quality felt fine to me. I like the way it looks on my shelf, honestly. Like I like the way those big chunky mangas look.
So I think those are built a little bit better, but the 3-in-1s, I think the Viz ones that are $14.99.
I like
those
One
seem,
Piece and stuff.
yeah, they have really thin paper. That's what I've been told. So
Oh
it's almost
yeah.
like the ink rubs off of it.
Well, and I would like for the One Piece ones to be better quality because I think that would be the easiest way to collect it if I eventually do. But man, they have the most unattractive spines.
Oh,
Like, oh,
I'm still getting them. I
like
wish
it
I had.
thick, Grand Lantern. That's why I like first, second graphic novels.
Those are thick.
They are thick.
I haven't read any Doomsday Clock, but most of that is because everything I heard about it sounded like a mess because it got dragged out for so long, and it seems like it was started with like one idea in mind, and then so many changes happened in DC. That everything I heard about was like, oh well, we couldn't really go the direction that we thought we were going to go with that.
The one thing I can't stand is the idea that it exists in a separate universe because he was doing that, and apparently Jeff Johns and Scott Snyder just don't get along. So Jeff Johns was kind of out the I'm gonna go the TV entertainment route. I mean, if y'all saw Stargirl, like he's one of the lead writers.
Yeah.
He's not just a name on the screen anymore. Now he's actually doing things. And honestly, that's kind of his background, right? Like that's what he went to school for. I miss him. I wish he would come back to comics.
Right.
Maybe some Marvel comics now, Jeff, that you're done with all the DC
But
stuff.
he's doing really well with the DC TV shows.
Yeah.
And so at least I'm like, well, at least I get his great storytelling in that.
Yeah.
I love Stargirl so far, and I'm like, he's gonna pull some Jeff Johns bullshit in this, and I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna get my heart broken.
Avoid the Viz Bigs. They're really bad. I don't think the big ones, like the Dragon Ball Z, Vagabond, those are okay. We're talking about the smaller, fat ones that are 14. You can usually tell by the price point. Like if they're $14.99, they're smaller, and they have 3-in-1s. Those are the ones that have the really bad paper. One Piece. What else? Full Metal Alchemist, was it released like that? I think.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist had the really nice.
Well, now they have the deluxe hardcovers.
Oh yeah, man, those deluxe hardcovers for that are beautiful.
They're expensive as shit though, because they're
Yeah.
1.5. They're not 2-in-1s.
Yeah.
They're literally 1.5-in-1s.
They're so pretty.
But Vagabonds are beautiful. So all the big ones, the Viz Bigs, are solid. You would think manga would look at the Berserk the deluxe editions. Yeah.
Well,
All of them would be $50.
Well, that and like not all of like manga readers are like collectors like us either. So for a lot of people, those Viz 3-in-1s are fine for them. We collect things a little bit differently, and so for us, like, oh, this really nice deluxe, but most people like, well, that's not what I'm here for. Lionheart, answer your question. Good. I'm on KOTOR 2. And
you're playing KOTOR?
Yeah. I'm like 3 worlds in. And I'm full Jedi because I can't ever act bad in a video game because I feel too guilty as if it's a real thing.
Oh, dude, I'm the same way. The older I get. I know you don't play Call of Duty, but anybody that has ever played Call of Duty in the chat, and I know Amanda's seen her husband play it, there's a part in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I don't know, maybe it's in all of them, where these German Shepherds are coming after you, and you have to grab the German Shepherd's head and break it, right?
No.
And every time I do that, I'm like, I'm so sorry, puppy, it's not my fault, but you're trying to eat me, and it's the only way I can progress through the game. The best example I can tell when I'm getting too old to play video games like this is in the first God of War, where this is on the PlayStation 2, so it shows you how old I am, but like where you're pushing the dude that's like begging not to be sacrificed into the pillar of fire to open up the next area, and he's like, please, I have a family at home, and I'm like, the whole time I'm pushing him, I'm apologizing to this fictional character. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, I gotta do this to get to the next area, please forgive me.
I can't.
Yeah, I get it.
In all of my BioWare games, I have to be so nice as if it's a real thing. I cannot. The only time I can do bad stuff is if like it's like a minimally bad thing, like a reporter in my face, I give him a headbutt. That's it. I can't just murder people. I always have to take the really long route to get places. Ugh.
There was a comment here from Shonda Sook. Amanda looks so concerned when reading
I
the comment.
I don't have anything to say to these what were the subject matter, so I don't. I mean, I don't read manga.
Well, here's something you can add your 2 cents about, because I know you watched the entire damn series. All the DC TV shows in Smallville, for me, work both Arrowverse and DC Universe shows. Yes, they do sometimes do stuff that make any sense, but when they hit it out, the book they hit it. I don't know.
Legend of Tomorrow season finale was perfect. They played the thong song. Cisco was on there.
Said Cisco was on it. I was like,
there was a fight scene.
Wait, Cisco's in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cisco.
I was like, I have never watched.
Are they traveling in time?
Are they in 1996?
No, there's a museum of bad decisions.
The
Cisco's
song
there.
is not a bad decision, and Cisco was the best.
It's the best. It's the best.
No, it was not.
Everyone should watch Legends of Tomorrow. It's the most comic book bullshit thing I've ever seen, which is why it's so good.
But that's why I love Doom Patrol, I think. I haven't seen Cisco in anything in...
He's been back. He's been doing stuff lately. I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, what do you know that I don't know?
He's about to probably do some stuff, which is why he is on...
Cisco makes you unleash the dragon. Does you remember... What was the group that he was in? Oh my gosh. Not Drew Hill.
Drew Hill. No,
Come on.
It was Drew Hill.
Was it? They did a song with Tupac.
Yeah, it was Drew Hill. You're right.
Okay.
Brandy, I am married.
Are you married too?
Yeah.
It was Drew Hill. Hell yes. I'm old and I still remember these things. So the thong song showed up. That's random.
It was hilarious.
Now I would. Maybe I should go. Yes. Shonda Sook, Incomplete was a great song.
I have a green lightsaber too.
Thong song not selling me on Legends. That's not how you get Matthew.
It's
how
so
old
good.
Are
like,
you?
we need to do better than that.
Just
everybody liked that song.
One. Just skip season
Ozzy Osbourne in it is I don't know what Matthew. What artist would sell you on?
It's so good.
That is true. Like everybody liked that song 20 years ago. Oh my God, was it 20 years ago?
Yeah, I remember dancing to it in my middle school dances, which was super inappropriate.
I just remember going to the clubs and that song came out. I'm like, this song is ridiculous. Just shut up. And all the girls were dancing to it. I'm like, oh my God, it works. This song's so stupid.
All those songs were
club songs ain't changed, man.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh.
Baby, we'll be back.
Legends is an entertaining ass.
Hugo gets it.
You just like Cisco from that Wild Wild West song.
Yeah.
Oh man,
the other day,
is the Wild Wild West song.
Back when my husband was still in the middle of like being furloughed because he's back to work now, I go into the living room and I just see him watching Wild Wild West. I was like, "Are you okay?" He's like,
By
"Well,
choice.
I really wanted to watch Men in Black, but they didn't have it, so watch the next best thing." I was like,
that is not the next best thing.
Oh yeah, it's on HBO.
Hey, I need to give you guys a quick little story time. Is that cool?
Yeah, Brandy. No age shaming here.
So I know you guys have been watching bad movies, like bad comic book movies. Mm-hmm. For the first time ever, I watched Ghost Rider Friday night. I've never seen it.
Where'd you watch it on? Or did you rent it?
It was on Netflix.
Oh, is it on Netflix right now?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
I've never seen it, and my friend's like, "Let's watch it. It'll be really good." And I was like they're like good, like isn't bad.
Maybe
it is, and his wig was atrocious. And so we watched it, and in the beginning, now granted, they don't know a lot about my history, but I'm like, it's like, is this? Oh no, his dad's gonna die.
You don't know about Jody.
And I was like,
okay.
Is his dad going to die on a motorcycle? And I suddenly realized none of my friends know that my dad died on a motorcycle. And I'm watching this, I'm like,
oh no.
What is this? That's my quick story time. That movie was really bad, but it was really funny.
Yeah, man.
Sam Elliott, though, very good.
Nicolas Cage is such a weird actor,
Actor?
right?
Well,
Because he
and
can
he's a
pull off
method actor.
right,
That
and
man's
he can pull off some really cool things, and then other times he's like, dude, are you even acting? I don't know if ever any of you have ever seen Peggy Sue Got Married.
Oh, I love Peggy Sue Got
Okay,
Married.
I do too, right? But Nicolas Cage and Peggy Sue Got Married, his definition of young is like somebody that's mentally challenged. And and the same thing in Ghost Rider. Like I'm like when he acts like a young Johnny Blaze, I was like, does he know how young people talk? Like,
He didn't go that method. He didn't
oh, it's
actually
so
talk
random,
to young
man.
people.
No. Well, he's just. I like watching this and just thinking, okay, I know he got into character before the movie even started. Because that's what he does. He's a method actor, so he gets into character for a while.
And I get it.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think it made any bit of difference for you, homie.
No.
And again, who chose that wig for him? I just kept laughing the whole movie, like. Are you guys
the
gonna watch
costume
that
department
one?
probably didn't get
Or did you guys already? You
Oh, we
guys should
haven't
watch
watched
that
it.
one.
We haven't seen that one yet. We're gonna
No,
take a
we
break
haven't.
this week because we're doing 2 Old Raider, New Raider.
Yeah.
But
So
maybe
good.
next week we'll come back and do it. Because he is a good actor. Because there are things like Raising Arizona that he's done are
Very
wonderful.
good.
I
And
like
honestly,
National Treasure just fine.
National
Oh, well,
Treasure.
National Treasure's very good.
I mean,
I like that you were like, well, hold on.
That's very
National
good.
Treasure is on
I
a different
mean,
level.
And
Yeah.
he did finally get to voice Superman in the Teen Titans Go movie.
That's right.
And I'm very happy for
Oh,
Which
him.
that's
I've
right, he
watched
did that.
like 5 times in
Did
one sitting because my daughter was like, I want to play again. I was like, sure.
I know Amanda hasn't seen it, but did you watch the documentary on the Tim Burton movie that never got made with Nicolas
I've only
Cage
seen
as
the-
Superman?
I've seen the outfit.
So there's a documentary where they talk about what happened to the project and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
I'll have to watch that.
And he's a big comic book guy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why he got the
named
role
his
of
son
Superman
Kal-El.
because he named his son Kal-El. He owns Action Comics #1. And you all are naming some good movies that he was
Adaptation.
solid in.
Everyone's like, wait, hold on a second.
Let's just have like okay,
The Croods? Are
Nick
you talking
Cage
about,
Appreciation Hour.
wait, are you talking about the animated?
Kevin Smith Superman, absolutely the one that
Yeah.
had the giant spider in Wild Wild West that was supposed to be in the movie.
Yeah.
That one. That's it. The death of Superman lives. What happened? That's the. It's good, especially if you've never. Going into it, for years I heard Kevin Smith talk about the story of how this movie just. Oh, it was bad.
Yeah. Oh, G-Made, yes. Spider-Man Noir, he did really good as that voice, too.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's right. It was John that made that, and he passed away. Oh my goodness, 2 years ago, right? He passed away 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Hugo. He was a big YouTube guy, and that was one of the documentaries he made.
Man, what's up next for your bad movie watch? Do you think?
know.
I don't know. We were gonna go the Marvel route, like look at the lowest rated. Look at the lowest rated Marvel movies.
That isn't an Incredible Hulk, 'cause we already did that one.
When are you
Yeah.
gonna watch Mystery Men?
I don't know. Someone has mentioned that to
Someone
Losers.
mentioned-
Or I thought we were going to do one. Well, since we're not doing one this week, we'll do one next week. We were going to do one where they were like the non-conventional soup, like Mystery Men, Losers, something like that. Make them pick.
Yeah.
It
I
all-
want to see Howard the Duck.
People,
Oh my-
people keep surprising me by their choices. Like I really thought Steel was going to win last week, and then we
Me
ended up
too.
with
We
Jonah
watched
Hex.
Jonah Hex, which, by the way, so far the worst movie we've seen. Because this has been a lot of fun, and sometimes
I don't
there's
think
been
it's the worst movie yet. Well, no, I
No,
wouldn't watch it. It's
Catwoman is
boring.
the worst movie.
Yeah,
that
but
I
if
think
it was the
I've-
most boring movie I've ever seen, I don't think I would watch it again.
and I can't talk about Catwoman without, of course.
Stop!
Talk about that amazing
That is
scene.
the worst meme.
Yes.
Oh,
One more
man.
time. One more. Oh my
No.
god.
Gotta add the other meme into it.
I love that. That might be my favorite. I don't
what
care how
about 1984 Supergirl? I'm looking at a list of like worst
Well,
superheroes.
yeah, we had Supergirl, Steel, and Jonah Hex up
We
for
did
votes.
it. Whatever. Bad movies on HBO Max. That was the.
Oh yeah.
They're all on HBO Max.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shonda
there's been a
knows
lot
what's up. Catwoman for that. They just want to hear Amanda singing again.
I'm not drunk enough tonight to sing it at all. So
That
y'all can hear.
that scandalous song, man. That scandalous song. There it is.
That song.
Yeah.
Losers. I thought Losers was fun, but it gets a lot of hate too. That's the one with Chris Evans.
No, it's not one of the worst
ba-
rated. So.
based on the Andy Diggle book. See, okay, so I thought about Man Thing, but Man Thing, the problem with Man Thing was that it went direct to video, like the case, like the case of but then that's not really fair to put it up like against something that actually made a theatrical,
a huge floodgate of different.
Oh no, I think it's even better.
I say if we go that route, then we might as well put the Richard Corbin film of like Fantastic Four, but then that didn't even get finished. Like so it wouldn't be fair to rate it. Oh my God, are you serious, Hugo Rios? I have Supergirl in VHS. Haven't seen it since I bought it 25 years ago.
You just can't let go.
Man.
Ooh, The Crow. That works.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Where is?
Oh, can we watch Red Sonja? I heard that movie's bad.
With Bridget Nielsen and not Conan Arnold? Because they couldn't legally call him Conan.
Oh, wow.
See, I actually have a soft spot in my heart for Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. Yes, I realize it was shot in Australia. It doesn't look anything like New York. But Louis Gossett Jr. owns in that movie. Give Amanda 5 minutes to go get a beer. We did do The Phantom already.
Yeah, we did
The Phantom with Billy Zane.
Yeah. And that awesome onesie he wears in it. Leotard.
Red Sonja's not bad? I haven't seen it. I don't know.
It's okay. I remember having a huge crush on her like every other boy did, I'm sure, during that time.
That's Bridget Nielsen, right? Yeah, she was.
Bridget Nielsen. I couldn't remember her name, and I was like, she was married to Rocky and
Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav,
yes, right.
I only know her from reality shows. I've never seen her.
All I know her from is Flavor Flav.
Y'all have never seen Rocky IV? Red Sonja? No, okay.
No, I've never seen a Rocky movie actually.
We put the Shadow up against the Phantom and it lost.
Yeah, Spirit went up against something. Beastmaster 2 was brilliant because guess what? Beastmaster 2 was the plot to Thor. Come at me, Elliot. Guy comes into this realm here in where was he? New York in Beastmaster 2. But the beauty of Beastmaster 2 is they no longer have to they didn't have to spray paint the tiger anymore. Because in Beastmaster 1 they couldn't find a black tiger, so they spray painted a tiger.
Oh, cool.
Black paint. I was like, man, that's so cruel. He's
amazing.
the Beastmaster. Captain America's. Oh, you're talking about the 90s Captain America? Yeah. Toxic Avenger. But those movies are notoriously, the trauma films are just. I flew on the plane next to that guy, too. And I recognized him. Ghost Rider 2 is legitimately the only time I've considered walking out of it. Really.
Wow.
Man.
I've only ever walked out of one movie. I can't remember what it was, but it was like
what was it?
It was a horror movie, but it was super nonsensical and gory for no reason. And normally I like that stuff, but it was so bad that I couldn't even watch it. That's never happened again.
I know Amanda is a big movie goer, and I'm too cheap to walk out of a movie after I paid for it.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about walking out of a movie, Amanda?
No, I don't think so. Hellboy would have been the only exception.
Hellboy, I remember, was like, we gotta get the hell out of here.
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that we had to go do a review right after, I probably would have.
Ellie, I didn't walk out of The Witch, even though I really wanted to.
You didn't like it? My daughter and I watched it. It was okay.
Lionheart, I will watch Rocky for you.
Rocky is phenomenal. Do you like Evil Dead? Absolutely, 100%. Sam Raimi. I still have not seen the new one that he did with the girl in it instead of Ash. Have you all seen that one, the new Evil Dead?
I haven't seen any of them because me and
I know.
Yeah.
Amanda has a.
It's not. I won't go out of my way to watch movies like that. Someone might force me to, but I will not go out of my way.
I wouldn't say force you. I kind of trick you into watching it.
The only reason I put Ready or Not, which actually isn't, it's like a horror comedy. The only reason I put it on is because Seth Cohen's in it.
Of course, Seth Cohen.
Yeah.
Amanda doesn't know the plot to From Dusk Till Dawn, and people in the chat were like, "You got to get her to watch that, Omar." And I'm like,
"Oh,
I think she can handle that."
Oh yeah, because I don't watch a lot of westerns.
Sure, you can come into it thinking it's a western. Sheena, yeah, man. I do. That was What's-Her-Face, right? She was in that 70s show later on. She was one of the Charlie's Angels. Damn. All these names escape me. I love the Evil Dead series. Army of Darkness, of course, man. I quote that all the time. With my wife, especially. Give me some sugar, baby. Reboot Fantastic Four, Jesus.
They will.
I'm sure they
Give
will.
them time.
Tanya Roberts, thank you so much. The He-Man movies. Was there more than one? There were two. But one became the plot to something else. Time Cop 2? Cyborg 2? Something like that? Yeah. So, yeah. 7 out of 10. Hey, what did you ladies give it? 9 out of 10?
Nines.
I'll bring it back. I brought it back. It's
Thank you.
9:15.
Yeah, I know.
Just wanted to say thank you to all of you all for watching us and tuning in. And we'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the Mark Waid and Chris Samney Black Widow run. So
I'm very excited.
if you all haven't read it, it's available in trade paperbacks and it's on Comixology, I believe. Well, maybe on the Marvel app. So
Let me check quick. Got the Marvel up.
all right, you check quick.
No, you're fine. You keep going. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Injustice, Jordan.
Oh yeah, Injustice is so
That's the most, because you could argue that he's not so much a villain, just a complicated character in Red Sun.
Yeah.
Even though he does do bad things, but so does everyone. But Injustice, he's very much a villain.
And if you've not read JLA Earth 2 by Grant Morrison, freaking awesome, too. And that story kind of continues into the JLA mythos. Like it's all part of the New 52 as well. Those characters that are introduced in JLA Earth 2, which should be part of the omnibus that's coming out if it comes out, when it comes out. So
I don't see any weight on here for Black Widow.
okay. It's available in trade paperback, maybe on Comixology. Regardless, we will be here on Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to talk about it.
That's
Now,
right.
One of you ladies want to sign us off? Because I've said my piece.
Sure. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you hit that like button. If you're watching this later, please comment down below and tell us what you thought about Superman Red Sun. We hope that you will also check out our Patreon. It's a good way to support us, but also a good way to get your vote in to vote for our pick of the month. And we have a Redbubble and stuff. Anyways, I hope you can join us again on Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Yes, so thank you all. And yes, I'm still making a list of my favorite comic book writers. It is like 3 weeks in the making, I swear. So everybody have a great night. Omniboo out. Sledge. Thank you all.